What's up, guys? Welcome back to Strands and Story. I am Mo, the founder of Ghostly Care Company. And today I have somebody here that I've been knowing for a long time. And anytime somebody asks me about hair color, they want to dye their hair, they got gray hair, they just won't take dye, anything regarding color, I always send them her way. So I have Rachel Red here. Tell us a little bit about yourself and who you are, how you got started in the industry.
Well, first, thank you for having me, Monique. It's been a long time. Again, we have known each other for a very long time. I feel like you were like the beginning story for me anyways. You probably don't know that, where we started. Well, you started back at, Cleopatra?
I started at Cleopatra.
And then my starting was Glam Bar.
And that's where we met.
On
Peter Street.
Oh, what a time to be alive. But yes, well, I am Rachel Red. Again, I'm originally from Marietta, Georgia. You know, you have to be exact at Atlanta these days. You can't say you're from Atlanta, so I'm going to be exact. I'm from Marietta. But for me, I would say I believe everyone is creative, but I leaned into my creativity, right? So I've always been one that did visual painting, arts as far as photography. So I got into hair right after high school, and it's something that my mom suggested for me because I was one that walked to the own beat of my own drum, a little stubborn, a little authority issue. So why not go into hair where you can be your own boss?
Right.
But I always tell people my visual point is from a clientele because I loved getting my hair done. So I was able to see what it was like to receive the service, but was able to get my hair done by a lot of different owners. So I saw how you can do your own thing, be your own boss, but I also knew how it felt to be serviced correctly. So I went into hair in that way.
Got it. Okay. So when I met you, how old were you then?
Well, I've had to be, I feel like the beginning years blended. So I had to be in between the age of 19 to 21. I don't know if I was drinking yet. Legally. So I try to find that standpoint, like, were we going to the bar across the street at Pearl, or were you just getting a fish sandwich? So 19 to 20 probably.
Okay. So you got started pretty young.
Yes.
Now I don't recall you doing color then. So I know now you are a specialist in color. That is your thing. I don't know if I see you do much of anything else.
Right. I had to style the hair.
Well, of course, style the hair, right? But you know how some people like specialize in hair extensions, or they specialize in, I don't know, lace fronts or sew-ins or eye tips, right? It's a thing right now to niche down, but your thing is color.
Hair color and healthy hair color, because I'm not departmentalized like in some of the places that I assisted. So being a hair colorist, you had to know how to style the hair. And it's funny because when we were working together, of course, when you're building out, you have a niche, you know, something that you want to specialize in, but you're building a clientele. And so at the time, you can't really cut yourself off from being able to provide other service that people are requesting because you have to meet that booth rent, right? So I was doing sew-ins, not the best at it, but I did enough to make sure you were secured. I did silk press, I did pixies, I did everything that the service menu had to provide that was in my wheelhouse, but my preference was hair color. So I'll try to find a way to intertwine hair color when I was starting out so people would recognize me for that.
Right. And I tell my stylists that, or a lot of stylists that I know that just start out, like, yeah, in the beginning, you don't have to do everything, but yeah, you got to do a lot of stuff to eventually figure out, okay, what do I love to do, right? And then once you have a clientele, then you can say, all right, I know me, I did that. I ain't doing that no more. This is what I want to focus on. So what inspired you to specialize in color? Like, when did you feel like, okay, I'm done doing everything else, I only want to do color?
Well, it was in hair school once because again, back in 2008, they had it at Paul Mitchell, it was departmentalized. So you were a hair colorist, you were a hair cutter, or you were a stylist. And so for me, hair color I gravitated to because I had a background in painting and drawing. Hair cutting, me and degrees didn't go together. And then because I was a client, I didn't know how to style as well as some of my counterparts, right? So,
well, what do you mean because I was a client?
Because I didn't do my own hair. So I feel like when you are coming right after high school, right, for me, I always tell people I wasn't the kid that had an aunt or a mom that did hair. I wasn't doing people's hair in school. I was barely doing my Barbie's hair, right? So I didn't have the flick of the wrist at the time to do a good curl, a good press. That came after working alongside you, working at Too Groovy as an assistant. So that came over time. But at the beginning when I was in school, that wasn't my strong point. I easily gravitated to color because I loved the transformation of color. That was the biggest transformation you were able to get. And then you also had room to improve or fix. Whereas in cutting, if you cut off too much, you have to hope that it grows back, right? Whereas in styling, back then we were learning with Marcel's. So if you didn't check that temperature on that white towel, or you know what I mean, you can burn someone's hair out.
I never touched Marcel's. When
Okay.
I tell you, I was always scared. I was not trying to burn nobody's hair out.
That was so fearful. So it's like by the time you reached the head, it was too cool, so you weren't pressing out anything. And then you might have the opportunity of melting. So that was the safe space, was color. And so I just stuck with that there. And then they told you need a price point. So I knew when I went into hair, because at the time it wasn't looked at the way it was looked at now, right? It was looked at as a trade, but a trade that stayed in a certain level of income.
Mm-hmm.
And when they told me how much you can make as a hair colorist, I was like, well then boom, because I want to afford a certain lifestyle for myself. So I'm going to go there. But then at the same time, I knew for me to be able to charge that, I had to be exceptional at it.
Absolutely.
So
And that you are.
Thank you.
You are so good at it.
Thank you.
All right. So what are some major mistakes you see clients make before they come in to get color services?
Expectations. I think especially, again, I found like old stylists now. I'm like, these days with AI photos and Pinterest and I mean, it can go deep, right? Because when you're talking beauty, most people are wanting to make themselves up into what they wish they looked like, right? So I went to makeup school right after Paul Mitchell. And so with that, when people contour, you're trying to make your nose seem slimmer. When you do contour in your cheeks, you're trying to bring your face in. Most people, when they're wanting hair color, they're wanting to change something about themselves. So sometimes it can be deep or sometimes it can just be surface. And a lot of times it's deep when people are coming in.
I was about to say, sometimes it's always deep, right? So I have had clients back when I did hair, they will bring you photos, like you said, but at long story short, unrealistic expectations, right? They show you these pictures of a person. Her makeup is perfect. I mean, she is beautiful. She has edges and they want their hair just like that. And I'm like, well, but you don't have any edges. Or
Right.
So yeah, it's pretty deep. Or you will give them what they asked for in the picture and they're like, oh, I don't think I like this on me.
Right. So that's why I know those expectations. I know that the expectations are high when it pertains to hair color. So I always tell, and I'm sure we'll get into that, where that's why consultations and having that conversation to bring those expectations down. Because again, when you're looking at a photo, they're not really looking at the hair. They're looking at the full aesthetic of the photo and the person that's actually wearing it. So like when Chloe was going blonde and everybody wanted to be this particular blonde, I used to have to tell people, put your your thumb over her face. Now look at the hair color again. One, is not that great of a hair color, right? Because you're looking at the person wearing the hair color, not necessarily the hair color. Shatira, to be example. The girls, she is absolutely gorgeous. The skin is milky, it's shine, it's deep, it's brown. She's a beautiful woman. So smooth. And they come in and they're like, I want this look, and no tea, no shade to nobody. But I'm like, that's a two-tone. That's blonde in the front and a copper brown in the back. And someone came in with it in and they were like, I asked for this and this is what I end up with. And I was like, that's it. I said, what you're missing is you don't look like Shatira.
So wait, would you say you get her photo the most? Like,
I used to get it a lot. But again, now people are evolving their taste. Because right back then, you just went with who was popular. But now, because there is levels and variations of different tones, people are now more educated on what looks good on them.
That's why AI is actually a good thing.
Yes, it is.
Because now you can plug in your picture with that color to see how you look.
Yes.
And you might be like, okay, no, I look crazy with that hair color.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's a good thing. Okay. All right. So this one right here is a hot topic. I know for me, it has always been. What are your thoughts about clients wanting to go blonde from black hair dye? I run away from it.
I run towards it.
Really?
Yeah,
That is
it's so much fun. It's so much fun once you overly explain the process. You have to overly explain the process. And one, I like to ask all the whys on why you want to go from black to blonde, because there's a certain aesthetic and a certain personality that comes with rocking black hair, right? Black hair gives you so much range when it comes to clothing.
Okay.
You can wear patterns, you can wear prints, you can wear a red lip, you can wear any color lip, any color blush, right? And with most women, especially black women, you feel more exotic with black hair. So there's a certain look and there's a certain aesthetic that you give when you go out with jet black hair. So when they start asking for blonde, I'm like, now you know your whole aesthetic is going to change. Because after doing it for so long, I've taken women that have been black for years and they go blonde and they hate it, right? They're like, I miss my black hair, I miss my black hair. So this is why I have extended the conversation with those that are black, jet black hair, and want to go blonde. Because I'm like, let's just start about how you're going to change look-wise. Your skin is going to change because I have the makeup background. So you're not going to be giving the same tonal range in makeup when you go from jet black to blonde. So a lot of times I end up talking out most people from going blonde, because there's also a certain process that you have to go from black to blonde, and you're not going to instantly get to blonde in one sitting. You're going to go through that copper red stage. Most of the time they don't want red and copper. They want either blonde or they want jet black. But then you have people like you that have great extensions where then they can explore wigs, because then there's another degree of it where most of the time, what happens when your hair gets damaged and you're a lighter color? You go black.
Yep.
So black is the appeal of healthier hair. So sometimes if you have long, beautiful, luxurious black hair, you're going to take it through some taxing moments to where your hair will become unhealthy, because you have to go through so many lifting processes where not only do you dissolve the natural melanin in your hair, but you're also having to strip and dissolve the artificial pigment out of your hair. So that can become damaging. And most of the time, someone with jet black hair wants healthy hair. So there goes another way you can talk them out of it.
Right.
Or redirect in saying, well, not necessarily blonde, try extensions, try wigs. Oh, you're just over the black? Try chocolates, try something deeper. So you understand that you want to keep the hair integrity, but you also want to keep it complementary to your lifestyle and your look.
Right. And I'm glad that you take them through that process. I think the biggest thing for me, or what I will always tell them, is if you find somebody that says they can do it, your hair is going to be tore up.
Yeah, down.
So, but you tell them that.
Yes. You have to.
Yeah.
And I would say that is why I am blessed with the clientele that I have, because I respectfully redirect. I don't tell them no. I give them the full story of the process and let them choose whether they want to go through that investment of time and money.
Right. Okay. So this is not a question that's on here, but another thing that I used to get a lot is the women that have gray hair.
Uh-huh.
What issues do you encounter with women that have gray hair, or their expectations?
Well, it's a full spectrum, right? Is it someone that is sick of their grays and are sick of how quickly they come back after they got a touch-up?
How quickly they come back and they're calling you like, oh, this dye didn't work, but it's more like, no, your gray is gonna keep growing in.
So it's two different things, right? It's either the colorist or the client not having realistic expectations of what a gray hair is. So as the colorist, if it's coming out instantly, then you're not using the proper product to make sure that there at least is some type of longevity to that hair color retention. As the client, they have to understand that gray hair is an empty vessel. It cannot hold pigment, the reason why it is gray. It has emptied out all its natural melanin. So the porosity is different. So that means that the color retention of being able to hold that pigment is not going to have the longevity. So a lot of times, which is becoming very popular with my clients and a lot of clients out there, is gray blending. You can't cover it.
Yeah.
You might as well blend it out so it's less line of demarcation, less visibility as it grows out. So I always prefer, if you're higher than 75% around the hairline, you should not be jet black. You should not be below a level 5, because you're putting basically darkness next to white, and you're going to have quick visibility compared to if you took it lighter, there's less of that reflective.
Right.
There.
So more of the blonder shade.
Your browns.
So blended.
Sandy browns. Because again, your gray is more coarse. So if you go blonde and she has that melanin in between, that melanin is going to become damaged. So that's why I like to stay in that 7, 8 range.
You explained that very well.
You're welcome.
Do y'all hear that? The ones with the gray hair.
The ones with the gray hair, be realistic, just like you jet blacks.
Right. All right. So what do you look for in a client to determine if they are a good candidate for hair color?
If they're a good candidate for hair color, of course, is the overall health of the hair. Meaning, if we're going to get technical, the density, the porosity, the overall integrity, how strong is your hair to withstand whatever you're asking for. And then what is their maintenance regimen? Are you a low maintenance person or are you a high maintenance person? Because that all plays in the effect of how your hair withstands outside of the salon. So if you're someone that is using things that are not going to encourage healthy color treated hair, then I would not suggest you to do something that is on that higher level, that higher maintenance, that requires a certain degree of ingredients to maintain that bond. So I say anybody's a good candidate, but you have to be realistic on what you're willing to do as far as outside of the salon and what you're willing to invest inside the salon.
Got it. Okay. Now, how do you approach pricing for color services? Because I know color can get very, very expensive.
It can.
So do clients ever seem shocked once you give them the price?
Not at this point.
Give me a range. Like, what's a...
So I would say this, because when I teach my classes, people always ask what makes me charge what I charge, or how do they charge what I charge? And you start off with one, who is the demographic that you are attracting, or who do you want to attract? 2, where are you servicing these people at? So it's all in real estate. Where are you having them pull up at, right? What is the parking lot given? What is the front? What is the first? What meets the eye is your real estate, right? Then you have to say, when they're coming in, what is the space? What are you providing as far as atmosphere? Then 3rd, you as the individual, what is your skill set at? I'm very self-aware and very realistic, and I hold myself accountable. So I say that colorists have to hold themselves accountable on what you can actually provide. If someone provides a photo, can you do it? Or do you have to watch a video to learn how to do it? That means you haven't invested in the education. So that means you should not be charging that price. So most people that charge high prices as colorists are those that are realistic, are those that understand the investment that they put in the continued education part. Whether it's I assisted so many years and I trained under master colorists, or I've taken series of classes and came back to the salon and practiced to perfect what I do. So the skill set plays a part in it, and then how long it takes you to do something plays a big part. And then, of course, the products that you choose. What is what you're investing in? Are you getting your return? So the cost of color plays a part. So it's different variables before you just say, I'm charging $1,000 for this transformation. I don't charge $1,000.
I was just about to ask you, what's the most you've charged for color?
The most I've charged is $725.
Oh, really? That's not bad
Because
at
it takes
all.
me 7 hours.
So you're doing about $100 an hour?
Yes, but I don't tell someone $100 an hour. I know how long it's going to take me to do a service. So I'm already going to have that out, so then there's no room for negotiation. So when you tell someone I charge an hourly rate, then if they're not respectful of what you do, then they're going to try to cut corners on, well, what can I get in 4 hours?
Oh, yeah. Or they're going to feel like
you're creating conversation.
Yeah.
And I don't even really like that much conversation behind the chair because I have to concentrate.
Yeah.
So this is the price. This is what your expectation should be. But I'm realistic because I know how much I would spend something, right? Because I come from the clients. So all of my clients that love you, you have the clients that just love, I'll follow you anywhere. I'll pay anything. And it's like, girl, until I start charging and until I have you driving over and yonder, it's going to hit different, right? So they're like, why aren't you charging $1,000 like these other stylists? Because I would never pay $1,000 for that. Now, there are those that are willing to, right?
Right.
But I just know who I would want to service. I feel like I'm a great client. So who are you wanting to attract? There's going to be a high expectation from someone that's paying you $1,000. If you can meet that, great. But the overall underlying anxiety and pressure you're putting on yourself to provide $1,000 service in hair color. We're not talking extensions. We're talking hair color.
But you have been doing it for so long. Have you given yourself a raise?
I have. I do very well charging $7 because I'm retention. I'm not looking for $700 every week. I have those that are paying me $3 to $4 on a regimen that is consistent, that is expected. I'm not looking for an instant transformation because, again, you put yourself on a hamster wheel of catching that new person, that new eye.
Right.
Whereas when you have a consistent clientele and you're affordable, but you're also being able to afford your life, I'm a simple person. I don't require much. So I'm good.
Okay. Got it. So what are your go-to maintenance tips for people that do have color-treated hair?
Less is more.
Okay.
We're in a business of, again, I try not to be overly real. I got to realize where I'm at in life. No, think about how much the beauty industry brings in as far as products, right? So our clients are being constantly signal to buy this. You need this. And yes, there are certain ingredients once you start altering the natural chemistry to your hair that you're going to need. But there are certain things that your hair naturally produces. And if your colorist is not completely emptying out your vessel of what you naturally produce, you only need certain amount of products to maintain. So again, where I stand on is the health and integrity of my client's hair. I will tell you no if your hair can't handle it, because I'm not going to tell you to go buy X, Y, and Z to hold it together like a Band-Aid, because eventually it's going to fall apart. So you might as well be realistic on what they can provide. So a good shampoo, a good conditioner, a great leave-in, a good serum after the hair has been flat ironed. If you want to, because again, I'm dealing with a tricky thing because we come from the old school, right? It was a silk press or relaxer. No one cared about a curl pattern. No, very rarely.
That's new.
This is new,
that is
right?
All new, yeah.
So what happens with us, we have the conversation of heat damage, right? But we come from a space of heat trained.
Yes.
Is it damage? And depends on who you're talking about. We're talking science, and yes, we have broken down the bonds and da-da-da-da. But do I care? No. But now some care, right? So when you have those type of clients that are wanting this level of versatility from curly to straight to curly, there's a certain product lineage that we can't do. So I say that to say when I said serum after the heat styling, because when you add product to the hair that may be heat protectant, but it's still a product on the hair, it's going to weigh it down and it's going to change the elasticity of the curl to where if that guest comes back and says, my curl pattern is not as strong, well, we did release it a little bit by adding that serum to it before we flat iron it. So when you're talking to your guests, product knowledge is very important on the order and what they're using and how they're using it.
Right. So what products? So you say a shampoo, a good
So a good
conditioner.
clarifying. So shampoos, a lot of clients, it depends on the hair.
Depends on the hair.
Again,
That's good.
It just depends on the hair, the color, their price range, what they're wanting to invest. I mean, there's a lot of great, again, it's a $1 billion market. There's a lot of great products. It's just what works for your hair. So depending on if you're a wash and go girl or you're a straight silk press girl, do you need a clarifying shampoo or do you not need a clarifying shampoo?
You don't think everybody needs a clarifying shampoo? Everybody's hair is
Depending on
dirty.
how often you will shampoo your hair. If I shampoo because again, I'm dealing with curly girls that may come to me for a silk press every 6 months. So if you're a curly girl and you wash your hair every 4 days, no, you don't need to clarify everything. You just need to reset it because you just need that water to help with the definition. So there's co-washing. Right. There's a whole different, like, we can,
Girl, I was about to say, that can go deep.
So if you're washing your hair once a week, yeah, clarifying, but there's different degrees of clarification, right? You have gentle, but then you have the extremes where if you have scalp issues, you got tea trees, you got vinegar, you got all these different ingredients that can dry out the scalp if you don't have that issue. So you have to be mindful of what type of clarifying you're using.
Got it. Okay. So get whichever shampoo and conditioner is best for your hair type.
So
Now,
consult with a professional. Even with the shampoos, with the products. When you're going to Sephora and all those places, talk to the associates and tell them what it is, because you'll read and they're all going to say moisture. They're all going to say for curly, for texture. But what are the ingredients? Are you allergic to something? Does something dry you out more than something else? So you got to talk to a professional.
So other than the products, what other things should they be doing at home? Maybe tying their hair up or
Silk scarf, bonnets, satin, silk pillowcases. Because again, if you're a girl that wants to go to sleep with a certain aesthetic, I get it. You don't want to wrap your hair because your hair scalp sweats. Then you have great products as well. You have now everyone doesn't want to go to sleep with the rollers because it's too hard. So now you have the flexi rods, but not your old school flexi rods. They have satin and things around it, silk rollers and things like that. So that is something that's important. So how you protect your hair at night is very important. If we're talking to our silk press girls, put the flat iron down.
Oh, say that again. Say that
Put
again.
the flat iron down. The hair has been pressed. It has been set. It's about you maintaining the curl or the silkiness of your hair. And you have to be realistic that if you're natural, it's going to grow. It's going to expand. And it's probably time for you to reset your hair by washing it. So if you're one that works out, you're just going to have to be realistic on
Wear a ponytail. If
Wear
you
a
work
ponytail.
out, wear a ponytail or get braids. But yeah, flat ironing it every day.
So flat iron every day because that goes into what that heat damage is, right? You already have the heat protectants and the oils that we've already put on the hair, and then the oil and the elements outside of what ends up on the hair. And so what you end up doing is you're burning your hair because you're flat ironing dirty hair.
You cooking it.
And it cooking and you smell it. Like if you walk in your bathroom and you smell your hair, you shouldn't be flat ironing your hair. And if you have to touch up, turn down the heat setting.
Right.
So you're not in the space of where I need to silk and style. I'm in the space of I want to maintain the curl. So it needs to be at 350 or below.
Got it. Okay. That's a good one. All right. So what advice would you give to any stylists who are afraid to take on color clients or unsure how to position themselves in that lane?
I would say you have to ask yourself, why do you want to take color clients? Why do you want to be a colorist? It's like a tattoo artist. I'm not going to just want to tattoo because it's fun. I don't want to just tattoo because it makes more money. I'm passionate. I have a visual eye on what looks good for my guests. It's a niche. So it's not a step and repeat, because I always tell people it's not knowing how to do it, it's knowing how to fix it, because it's all corrective color. So if you're just looking to learn how to do this one technique, you're not going to master it because you're not going to know how to fix your own mistakes, because it's way more than just doing a balayage. It's way more than just doing a baby light or however we're describing these new color techniques. If you're not deeply passionate about transforming someone in a color story that looks good on them, you don't need to be doing it. That's for one. Now, if you want to maintain grays and just do the easy touch-ups and things like that, then yes, by all means, but they're going to push you. they're going to ask for more. The client that just wants a brown all over color, eventually, the being on social is going to want a money piece. They're going to want some face framing. You're going to have to know what that is supposed to look like for every different hairline.
Right.
So passion first. You have to have real passion for becoming a colorist before you just say, I'm going to try to start doing color.
So did you take additional color courses, or it was just kind of like experience? You just learned as you went along?
I, again, after hair school, I went to makeup school because I was in a predominantly white setting where the guests that I knew I wanted to service in Atlanta, Georgia, were going to be women that looked like me. And so when we were doing toning, it was all ash. And I just knew ash doesn't look good on me. That's why I'm Rachel Red, because I look good with red hair because of the warmth in my skin. I knew that from just being, again, aware of me, but then how do I make someone aware of themselves on what they're asking for? So I went to makeup school right afterwards. And so that's how I know how to do tonal matches from undertones and skin and eye color. And then I assisted in salons, and I didn't assist in any salon. Before social media, there was magazines, and there was a list of the top salons in each major city. So I knew that I wanted to live in New York, so I looked at the major salons in New York, and I lived in New York 2 different occasions, one in Brooklyn, one in Upper East Side Manhattan, so I can get those different movements, but I assisted. And I assisted for a long time from people that I respected, and then again went back and applied what I knew, and then held myself accountable when it didn't look the way I know it's supposed to look. And so I just practiced and was like in the lab, but with the clients.
Right.
But then knew if something looked crazy, I had to fix it before they leave.
That's good. Okay, so you learned by experience and working under other great colorists. Yeah. That's good. Okay, so we're almost done. Done. Yeah. Okay, so I just recently saw that you used to have a suite. But you just went back to a salon, like a traditional style salon setting. And I thought that was not necessarily weird, but different, because we're in an age right now where everybody wants to be in their own salon suite, right? So you being an OG and being in the hair space for so long, it's like, oh, I wonder why, I was wondering, why did you make that decision? So can you tell me a little bit more about how do you feel?
I'll make it short. I'll try to make it short because, it's a multitude of things, right? We're layered people. So it's a layered decision. One, I'm a mom of 2. And when I started, I had no children.
Yeah.
So I had a plan, I had a dream, I had a goal. And then life starts lifing. You get married, the kids are getting older, and time is required. It's just not a step and repeat. It's more than money. You have to put in time to invest in your little humans to make sure you're not spending money on them as they get older. I want you out my house and be able to take care of yourself. That takes time, real time into those people. So one, the children are getting older.
Okay.
I got a 9-year-old and now 11-year-old. Middle school is happening. It's time to tap in, right? Then I have another job. I work as a brand ambassador for a large L'Oreal brand, Redken, that requires travel. But and I knew all these things as I was in my suite. I moved from the small suite to the largest suite you can get.
Okay.
4 suite. Windows, all the things. And I thought, because sometimes when you're busy, you make reactive decisions. So you're like hearing all these people, Rachel, you're Rachel Red, you got this many followers, you should be doing this, you should be doing this. I'm like, yeah, I should be doing that. Let me do my own independent education. Yeah, let me try to build an assisting team. Let me try to do all these things, right? And it took me to take a conference. It's called Summit Salons, and they're known for having a structured business module on how to make your salon a multi-million-dollar or just a successful salon. These are the tools and equipment. I went. And when I was sitting there, it was a lot because I'm an artist. I'm more visual. I'm more like to play in here and just vibes. This wasn't vibes. This was like numbers, and this was definitions of things. And I'm just like,
this is real CEO stuff.
CEO stuff, like 2-day intensive number workshop. And as I was looking there and I was like, no, I don't want to do this. I don't want to own a salon. At first, that was my first response. I said, well, this is just going to help me run my salon. Sweet. the way it should. Because
that why you went? I want to run my salon sweet, or?
I went initially because I thought the next step was you need a brick and mortar.
Okay.
You are the Rachel Red, as the people would put it, right? I didn't just see myself as Rachel that likes to do color. And so I went intentionally with a couple of other friends that work with the Mazzani brand. We all went, and some of them already own salons. So I was just like, I'm going to go because that's the next step. That's supposed to be the next step, right?
Okay.
You have 3 stations. You like this? Oh, girl, tell me.
Yeah, this is getting good.
Yeah, you got 3 stations. You're supposed to grow from here. So I'm like, I go for that. But I'm sitting there and it's not speaking to me. It's not speaking to my true intent or what I saw for myself. But I just was like, just take this information. You're supposed to have this information for something. Why not just use it for the suite? Because you have 3 stations, 2 shampoo bowls. You're able to at least build a small team. So how can you do it within your wheelhouse?
Okay.
And so I started to try to apply those things. And it just wasn't gelling with me. It wasn't gelling with who I had around me. And I was like, but the great thing about that opportunity is they put you with a coach. And the coach that, shout out to Michael in Kentucky, but he set me down and he knew who I was because he's a Redken salon. So he saw me do some platform work. And so he was like, okay, Rachel, tell me about yourself in a sense of, and I was like, I'm a mom of 2. I'm a wife. I have my own independent education. I travel with Redken. I have a suite and I have a full book. Client retention is
booked and busy.
Booked and busy. I have all those things. He said, oh, sweetheart, you have too many things happening where you're getting a diluted version. Each sector is getting a diluted version of you. So nothing's getting 100%.
You're teaching me something now. Because I might be doing the same thing.
Nothing's getting 100%.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay? Jack of all trades, a master at none. Right? We become masters at something, then we try to master something else by still trying to maintain the mastery of that. We don't graduate completely out of that space. We try to maintain that mastery and then master something else and then master something else and master something else. And we keep going, not realizing that 1, we're building cancer in our body because it's stress as women. Why is it all women have so much breast cancer these days? And it's not hereditary. It's stress because none of us are staying at home churning butter, which is fine. But now we're trying to master this. And I'm very self-aware to my body. And I was just like, if I keep going with this, I'm not going to be able to reach my life expectancy that I see for myself. I say I want late 80s. So he told me, you are giving diluted versions of yourself. So you need to sit down with yourself and figure out what do you want to prioritize. I automatically knew it was going to be the kids and my husband.
Yep, they come first. Family first.
But no, you come first. What is a family if you're not a part of it?
I agree.
So it's actually you, then the family, and then whatever else comes up. So I had to start reordering. So I started shuffling. And then again, I'm one that's like, once I know, I have to make a decision. I can't now walk blindly with information that I know is detrimental to me. That's like finding out, I mean, some people do it. That's how I find out you have an illness. Change the way you eat, but you can continue to eat the way you want to eat because you don't want to make that change. And you're actually killing yourself. So once I find out that information, why would I keep going in the same way?
Yep.
So what also was, because I'm a Taurus Leo, right? He told me how much money I was overly investing in my business. And I was like, I'm doing what? He was like, sweetheart, the square footage of your space and what you're paying does not match. I was paying a mortgage in Atlanta. I don't know where everyone else lives.
How much were you paying for your suite? You could say numbers. Give us real numbers.
$4,200 a month for 136 square foot space.
130. How big is that? Is that even the size of this?
It's like, let's break the studio completely into a third, like the front part of your studio, but the same length, but like where this camera that I'm looking at is, but long ways.
$4,200.
And I mean, pat on my back. I was able to do it. You know what I mean? So it's like,
but so when you go into business, you are in business to make a profit.
Yes.
And to keep your money.
Yes. And luckily, again, I was making profit, but I also had high expenses. So it was just like this.
You make it.
Some days I couldn't pay myself, winning weeks. But luckily, I had a whole nother income. But when it came to my salon business, I was just funneling the money right back into the business, whether it's buying all the snacks, buying all the products, buying too much color, because I'm creative and I'm like, ooh, this is a new color. I want to try it just in case my client asks for it, and it ends up on the shelf with dust. So I have this beautiful visual. Look at all that color. Look at all this space.
Wow.
But I'm just this.
So he did the numbers for you.
He did the numbers.
Everything in front of you, budget sheet. And you was like, the math is not mathing.
What the hell, Auntie? Yes.
What the hell?
And I was like, okay, no. Okay, fine, got it. And he said, you have one or two options. You either go into a smaller suite or you open up a salon. Well, no to the smaller suite, the way I'm rotating.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
And after I took that class, no to the opening up a salon, because most people that open up salons, there's one or two salon owners. There are partners where there's a stylist and someone that does the finances, or there is someone that only sees it as a business module. They retired from here, or they just understand how profitable a salon can be. I wasn't neither one of those things.
So you said, I'm back to a salon.
I'm back to a salon. Because I need to open myself up creatively, and I don't need those expenses to keep me behind the chair or keep me trying to find the next profit.
Right. So how do you feel since you made that transition?
Oh my gosh. I feel so good. I feel like I'm 36, but I feel like a kid again. Like, I just feel like la 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 la. I don't have to worry about, I just show up. And the reason why I didn't pick any salon space. I picked a woman that I actually respected because she lives, but she gets the business done. She has been in the business longer than me, so I've always loved wisdom. I always like being around older people. I'm not calling her old, but she is older than me. And so she's been through some steps that I haven't walked yet. She's an emptiness. Her boys are out. The other young lady that works with her, same thing, older children. So it was like where I want to be or what I aspire to be like. And I find it important that when you're in spaces of life, you need to be around people that you look up to or have something that you aspire to have.
Yeah.
Right? And I saw her space having value, and I saw me being able to add value to her space as well. It wasn't just about, I'm this person that wants to come in your salon. I love your salon. I love your lifestyle. I love how you do things. Let me join in that to have that energy and that synergy be on me.
That's so good. I'm happy for you.
Thanks.
Good. That's good. Okay. So tell us, how can the people find you? Social channels, website?
So Instagram, I am Rachel_Red. That is 2D. So RACHEL_REDD on Instagram. I am on TikTok, but I'm a user of TikTok. So it's I am Rachel Red. Maybe one day I'll post more. And then, of course, just check out that Instagram channel and you'll see everything that I'm up to.
We got to get you on YouTube.
Yeah, I got to get on YouTube. Again, you're trying to add to my wheelhouse, friend.
No, I'm not. That's easy. While you're working, just prop the camera up.
Prop the camera up.
Yeah, don't do that.
And then I just got to find your team. Somebody got to upload and edit.
Oh, yeah. Okay, never mind. We're not going to add too much more to your plate. I'm sorry. Okay.
But in due time, right? Everything has a season. You plant the seed and you give it time to grow, but it doesn't mean you try to rush the growth of it. So I'll eventually be on YouTube.
Right. Yeah. All right. Well, this was amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
You taught me something. You were speaking to me on one of those parts. Okay.
I know.
Yeah, you were. Make sure you guys like this video, subscribe to our channel, go follow Rachel, book her for color, all of that other good stuff. But thank you again for watching, and we will catch you on the next episode. Did I say subscribe to this channel? I'm going to remind y'all again. Subscribe to Strands and Story. If you are watching this and you are not a subscriber, subscribe to our channel, and I will see you guys the next time.